Lagos never truly sleeps. But 34 floors above the madness, Obinna lived as if it did. His penthouse in Ikoyi overlooked a restless city of horns, hustles, and headlines. Inside, silence ruled. No music, no movement. Just him, sharp-shooted, still, staring through tempered glass at a world that only whispered his name. They called him the Silent Shark, billionaire, elusive, rumored to own half of Marina and all of Eco-Atlantic's future. Yet no Instagram, no scandal, no one truly knew him. That wasn't by accident. Obinna had learned long ago that silence wasn't weakness. It was protection. From the media, from expectation, from the ghosts of things he couldn't forget. At 8:47 p.m., his intercom blinked. "So," said Benjamin, his assistant, "Femi Bemidele is here. He doesn't look good." Obinna said nothing, just turned his back to the city. He already knew this visit would cost something. People like Femi never came empty-handed, or without desperation biting at their heels. Before the towers, before the suits, before he learned to wield silence, there was Ypres, a coastal town where palm trees whispered secrets and time moved like smoke. It was here, in a villa with red clay walls and a rusting gate, that Obinna first learned fear. Not from war, not from the world, from his father. Chief Azabwike Dyke was a man of power and precision. His Egbada always crisp, his voice always calm, until it wasn't. Power, he believed, was best delivered in silence, behind closed doors, with no witnesses but God and bruises. Obinna's mother, Nena, had once been a bright star, a school teacher with gentle eyes and dreams of building libraries across the South. But marriage to Azabwike turned her into something else, careful, quiet, watchful. She wore her pain the way other women wore perfume, deliberately, invisibly. Obinna was 7 the night he heard the crash. A glass shattering, a sob muffled. He crept down the hallway barefoot, heart pounding, breath held. Through the cracked door of the study, he saw her, kneeling, bleeding, her lips split, her voice silent. And above her, his father, not shouting, just breathing, slow, heavy, dangerous. The next morning, he asked her why she stayed. She only whispered, "Because I love you, and because they'll say I failed." That was the day he made a silent vow. "I will never be the reason someone bleeds like that. Not ever." Tai Bemidele didn't believe in fairy tales. Not anymore. Not after Lagos had taught her how quickly dreams could drown in rent, traffic, and family debts. Still, there was peace in her small flat in Yaba, a second-floor walk-up with creaky floors, dusty novels, and the smell of cinnamon tea. By day, she taught literature at a local school, guiding restless teenagers through Soyinka and Chimamanda. By night, she wrote quiet poems in the margins of old exercise books, her life soft and predictable, like the gospel music that floated from her neighbor's window. It wasn't luxury, but it was hers. Then came the knock. It was loud, urgent, the kind of knock that doesn't wait to be welcomed. She opened the door to find her brother, Femi, standing there, soaked in sweat and panic. No greeting, no smile, just eyes that darted like trapped birds. "Tai, I mess up." She didn't need the full story to feel the weight of it. Femi always dreamed too loud and planned too little. A music producer with taste but no discipline, always one deal away from greatness or ruin. He collapsed on her couch, hands trembling, voice raw. "I borrowed money, bad money, 80 million Nigerian nairas. They want it back in 6 days." Tai sat down slowly. Her heartbeat climbed like sirens rising in the street outside. "From who?" He didn't answer, just whispered, "I went to Obinna." She blinked. That name, cold and sharp, cut through her memory. Her brother's friend from years ago. Silent, rich, unreadable. The man who never blinked. What did he say? Femi looked at her like a man burying his own soul. He said, "He'll pay it, but only if you marry him." Femi Bemidele had always been the kind of man who believed things would work out, until they didn't. He'd spent years chasing Lagos dreams in borrowed sneakers, promising beats that never charted and investments that never matured. But this time was different. This time, his mistakes had teeth. he had borrowed from men whose smiles never reached their eyes. 80 million Nigerian nairas, wide in haste, swallowed by a failed deal and a partner who vanished overnight. Now, the men wanted their money, and they didn't care who bled to get it. When Femi walked into Obinna Dyke's office in Ikoyi, the cold air met him like judgment. Obinna didn't rise, didn't smile, just watched, like a hawk deciding if the prey was worth killing. "I need help," Femi said, voice cracking. Obinna didn't blink. "How much?" 80 million, Femi replied. "I thought I could flip it. I failed. Now they are threatening my family." The silence that followed was brutal. Obinna stood, walked to the window, his voice low and measured. "I'll give you the money." Femi exhaled, too quickly. "But," Obinna added, turning back, "I want something in return." Femi's throat tightened. "What?" Obinna's eyes were calm, unforgiving. "Your sister, Tai. I want to marry her." For a moment, the room felt like it had no oxygen. "That's insane," Femi muttered. "You don't even know her." Obinna said nothing, just handed Femi a document with payment terms signed in silence. "You have 6 days," he said, "to bring me your sister's yes." Tai sat on the edge of her couch, hands wrapped around a cold mug of tea she'd forgotten to drink. Across from her, Femi looked smaller than she'd ever seen him, like a boy who finally realized the world bites back. "He wants to marry me?" she asked, voice flat. Femi nodded, unable to meet her eyes. "It's not love, Tai. It's a trade. He saves me. He gets you." She blinked, trying to process it. The man who barely spoke a word at that birthday dinner 4 years ago, the one who watched the room from a corner like a shadow, wanted her, not as a woman, but as, what? A symbol? A promise? "You're asking me to marry a ghost," she said quietly. "I'm asking you to save my life," Femi replied, voice cracking. The silence between them was heavy with history, childhood memories, late-night jokes, fights patched over with jollof and gospel songs. But this was something different. "You didn't even try anything else?" she asked. "I did," he said. "No one else will help. Not without a price I can't pay." He's the only one who didn't ask for blood. Tai stood, walked to the window, stared out at the rust-colored rooftops of Yaba. Her students' voices echoed in her memory, so full of hope. She always told them to choose their paths. Now hers was being chosen for her. He said nothing public, Femi added. No media, just a civil ceremony. Quiet. She turned, eyes tired but clear. "I'll meet him. Once." Femi's breath caught. "Don't thank me," she said. "I haven't said yes." But deep down, something told her she already had. Tai couldn't sleep. The ceiling above her bed in Yaba felt lower than usual, as if the night itself was pressing down, demanding an answer she wasn't ready to give. She'd met Obinna Dyke once, maybe twice. He'd barely spoken. But somehow she remembered him clearly. Not his money, not the myth, just the quiet. He had this stillness, like he could hear thoughts other people hadn't spoken yet. Now, he wanted to marry her. It wasn't romance. It wasn't desire. It was precision, a move on a private chessboard she hadn't asked to play. Tai spent the morning pacing, the kettle boiling and reboiling. She thought about her students, about her mother's voice when she warned, "Lagos will offer you comfort wrapped in chains." But then she thought of Femi. Her brother had raised her after their parents died. He wasn't perfect, far from it, but he'd tried. And right now, he was drowning. When she arrived at the cafe in Victoria Island to meet Obinna, the world felt louder than usual. Honking cars, clinking glasses, a preacher yelling on a corner. Then he entered. Dark suit, clean lines, no security, no smile. He simply sat across from her, like he already knew she would come. "You don't waste words," she said, sipping her tea. "I don't believe in decoration," he replied. "Why me?" she asked. "You looked at me once," he said, "and didn't see power or mystery. You saw a man eating alone." Tai paused. "That's a strange reason to propose." Obinna didn't flinch. "I don't want noise. I want peace. And I believe you carry it." She said nothing, but her silence was not a no. The suite at the Eco Pearl smelled like cedarwood and restraint. No flowers, no champagne, just sleek lines, soft lighting, and a view of Lagos that looked more like a painting than a city. Tai stepped inside wearing a simple navy blue dress and steady nerves. She wasn't here for love. She was here for clarity. Obinna stood by the window, hands behind his back, dressed in black, no tie, no warmth. Just quiet control. "Thank you for coming," he said without turning. "You didn't leave much room not to," she replied. He turned slowly. "I never force. You came. That means something." She walked further in, each step heavier than the last. "So this is how you propose?" "No," he said. "This is how I negotiate." She crossed her arms. "Then let's talk." Obinna moved to a glass table and placed a single sheet of paper on it. Terms. Clean. Unsentimental. Civil ceremony. No media. No children unless mutually agreed. Freedom to leave after 2 years. Tai read in silence. Her heartbeat was steady, but something inside her shifted. "You don't believe in marriage, do you?" she asked. "I believe in peace," he said. "This is the closest I can get." Tai looked up. "I don't know you." "You don't need to. You only need to know I'll never hurt you." And somehow she believed him, not because of what he said, but how he said it, with a kind of quiet a broken man carries when he spent a lifetime trying not to become his father. She folded the paper. "I'll sign," she said, "but not tonight." Obinna nodded once. "No rush. I'm not chasing a fairy tale." Tai turned to leave. "I'm not offering one." Rain fell soft and steady on the morning Tai Bombadil signed her name. No church bells, no lace, no waiting crowd, just a quiet courtroom in Ikoyi, 2 witnesses, and the low hum of air conditioning. Obinna arrived at exactly 9 a.m. Punctual, polished, silent. He wore a charcoal gray suit, no embellishments. She wore ivory, simple, strong, nothing borrowed, nothing blue. They didn't exchange rings. They didn't kiss. They signed. The judge's voice blurred into background noise as Tai stared at her own signature. It didn't feel like surrender. It felt like stepping into a room she'd never been allowed to enter, one lit by risk, not romance. Outside, Lagos moved like it always did, impatient, chaotic, alive. They stepped into a waiting black SUV. Neither of them spoke for a long time. The driver didn't dare glance in the rearview mirror. Then, quietly, Obinna said, "You will have your own space. In the house. In the life." Tai looked out the window. "I never planned to lose mine." He nodded. "That's why I chose you." And that was it. No confessions. No soft promises. Just 2 people who understood that sometimes survival looked like a contract. Sometimes the quietest decisions changed everything. As the car pulled away, the city behind them blurred. And ahead, something unfamiliar. Not love, not yet, but a story just beginning.